Black Friday is dead. This year's footage of stores where people once trampled each other to buy half-price TVs show vacant aisles filled with merchandise advertising the same prices as last week. Yesterday's underwhelming Black Friday has left people wondering, what exactly happened? I'm Robert Tolpe, and tonight I'm talking about the decline of Black Friday. It was 2008 when Black Friday came on my radar. That was the year a 34-year-old Walmart employee was trampled to death by a crowd of shoppers eager to get their hands on cheap merchandise. On the same day, two men fatally shot each other during an altercation at a California Toys R Us. The media had a field day, portraying these incidents as an embodiment of heartless American consumerism. The shoppers involved in these incidents were called savages, and media outlets implied that it was the $9 Hulk DVDs and $69 Samsung cameras in the stores that made people homicidal. Of course, that narrative, though seductive, does not withstand scrutiny. It lets the massive corporations who allowed these things to happen on their property entirely off the hook. It also ignores important events that contributed to the chaos. Just months before, Lehman Brothers declared bankruptcy after their years of careless investing in subprime loans caught up to them, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average plummeted. People's retirement savings were beginning to vanish before their eyes. Americans who were steadily becoming unemployed and broke lined up in front of stores that day feeling as if that this was their last opportunity that they had to provide for their families for the foreseeable future. The context of the looming Great Recession bringing the country to a boiling point has been largely forgotten, but the reputation of Black Friday as a gladiatorial event where people pepper spray each other over Baby Alive dolls stuck. And so did the idea that the deals were just so good that people were willing to kill for them. Of course, the advertised deals were always kind of a lie to get people in the store. Stores often stocked barely any of the ridiculously cheap electronics and toys in the print ads so that when they inevitably ran out of them, people would buy similar, more expensive items because they waited 10 hours in line and didn't want to go home empty-handed. It's no wonder that year after year, Black Friday generates massive amounts of sales and record profits, and you don't make that much money by practically giving away stuff for free. There was always a catch. Despite the reality of Black Friday deals being too good to be true, people still got out of bed year after year at the crack of dawn, shoveled down Thanksgiving leftovers, and headed to Target with their brass knuckles in hand. Black Friday was still an ordeal well into the mid-2010s, but e-commerce began to pull consumers away from brick-and-mortar stores. As the economy recovered and Americans became more accustomed to online shopping, people soon discovered that it was much easier to get their Christmas shopping done from the couch. By 2019, Amazon proclaimed in a press release that Cyber Monday of that year was the biggest shopping day of its history. Hundreds of millions of products were sold and shipped worldwide. But things weren't looking too good for brick-and-mortar stores. Forbes reported that while e-commerce sales went up a staggering 20% that year, malls and shopping centers saw a 1.6% decline in overall sales. It's clear the tide was turning even before the first reports of a deadly virus emerging in Wuhan, China, made headlines. As the country went into quarantine, Americans experienced a year without pitching a tent outside of Best Buy, and many realized that they didn't have to go through that kind of trouble ever again. People still got their Christmas shopping done, and they only had to wait an extra 1 or 2 days for it to arrive, assuming they were an Amazon Prime member. What was once a massive event worthy of getting into fistfights became like any other seasonal sale. The comparatively few people that show up to stores these days only do so because that's what they did for the past decade, and not because the deals are worth getting out of bed for. Old habits die hard, though, and stores count on this pattern of consumer behavior to continue no matter how high the prices are. Rising inflation has made deals harder and harder to find, and items that are 10% off or even the same price as they were a few weeks ago are beginning to look more and more like a bargain. America has fallen on hard times, yet consumers continue to spend despite not having money to spend. As of recently, Americans collectively owe a little over $1 trillion to credit card companies, and that number has been steadily increasing quarter after quarter since mid-2021. A lot of retailers are still seeing increased sales, but how long will that trend continue? America's economy is dependent on growth, and though many economists theorize that the GDP overall can grow forever, don't ask me how that works, there is a very obvious limit, in my non-expert opinion, to real growth in Black Friday sales. America's population is only going to get so big, and there's only so much crap people can afford to buy every November. While I'm sure the CEOs of Target, Walmart, and Best Buy are not too happy that the future of Black Friday looks rather bleak, their employees certainly appreciate the silver lining to the decline of Black Friday. Retail workers no longer have to deal with a frenzy of crazed shoppers when they should be at home with their families. Many stores no longer open on Thanksgiving and open significantly later than they used to on Black Friday. This is, of course, not because they care about their workers. It's because it's not worth it anymore to open the stores at 3 a.m. when few people are going to show up. It's also possible that stores don't want to push workers as hard as they used to. Some have called 2023 the year of the union, with companies making huge concessions to powerful workers groups in a variety of different industries. If the stores were to expose their employees to hazardous working conditions like they did in 2008, there is a much higher chance that workers would organize and walk out. Consumers are also becoming more aware of the human cost of Black Friday. People are now more likely to think about the people who manufactured, distributed, and stocked the items they put in their cart. It's becoming obvious to many that a store's ability to sell a camera for $60 while making a profit requires massive amounts of exploitation at every level. It raises questions including, what child mined the lithium to make it? What labor laws is the manufacturer violating? And what retail worker missed their family Thanksgiving to put it on the shelf? At the moment, the issues facing America and the world take precedence in the minds of many consumers. At the front of most Americans' minds is how will they afford to live in the coming years. Despite attempts to right the foundering economy, it feels like the country is doomed to capsize. Most people right now are living well above their means, and it's only a matter of time before their credit lines run out and the bills come due. Buying presents for family and friends is becoming a luxury slipping out of reach for many people. By the time Americans pay their rent, their medical bills, and their student loan payment, very few have money left for flat-screen TVs, even ones that are 50% off. Although it seems like people don't care about deals anymore because few show up to stores during the holidays, people are starving for them. America is a country of cutting coupons, going to 5 different stores to find the best deal, and calling for the manager when an item is priced incorrectly, even if it's only 50 cents more expensive. Even though toys and electronics aren't selling like they used to, people do want to save money, but it's on the things they really need. Unfortunately, the prices for necessities that we need to live are rapidly increasing. I doubt that housing, healthcare, and education will go on sale. At least, not for many years to come. Anyways, I'm Robert Tolpe, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and maybe even check out my Patreon, and I hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.